Hello, we are starting lesson number 8, and this week's topic, as you'll see on our preview page, up at the top, is about information literacy and academic resources. And so the objectives, we have 3 objectives. The first one is to effectively find and use information. You'll have many reasons you'll need to do this for your classes, future classes. And so it's best if you know the way to be effective in finding and then using information. There are many skills and strategies you'll use this week that I wish I would have learned when I was in my master's program and writing many papers. I think some of these tips I didn't know about that I could have benefited from. So I love this week because it's something you'll apply throughout the rest of your schooling. You'll also discover some of the BYU Idaho learning resources that you may not know existed, and then apply the skill that you're going to practice. The study skill is guessing the meaning of a word from the context. So what that is reading a sentence and being able to figure out what the word, a vocabulary word is that you don't know, based on how it's used in the sentence. Here's a quote from Elder Uchtdorf that I want to read. Latter-day Saints are not asked to blindly accept everything they hear. We are encouraged to think and discover truth for ourselves. We're expected to ponder, to search, to evaluate, and thereby to come to a personal knowledge of the truth. So like he said, rather than just accepting everything blindly, I think it's okay to ask questions. I think there's a difference between asking questions and doubting. And so I think if the questions are to help you deepen your understanding, then it's healthy and beneficial. So I wanted to take the time to go over like the academic or the application activity, because I don't grade everything. Some of the quizzes are automatically graded, so I like to give some explanation on some of the more complicated assignments, which are the ones that I do grade, such as the application activity. It's not one that you can just get a quick computer graded score for. So this week, I hope many of you watch this video, because there is something that often happens when people don't look carefully. So what you're going to do is you'll go to the Deseret News website, and that's a newspaper in Salt Lake. And so you'll go to their website. It's owned by the church, and you're going to search for what it says. And actually, I skipped over step 1. Choose a topic that's been discussed in an earlier lesson. So this needs to be a topic we've talked about: time management, and I being a disciple leader, and look through all the past lessons up until here, lesson 8, and see a topic you want to find an article about. So it needs to be something like that, not just you're curious about a mission to Mars or whatever. That is not what we're going to look an article for. We're looking for a topic that's been discussed in this class. So you'll go to this link, search for an article on your topic you've chosen, then you'll download the template and answer the questions on the template. So, and right here, I want you to look carefully, write 2 to 3 sentences. So that means if I don't see 2 sentences, then you get some points taken off for not following the instructions. And to answer each of the questions. So in your own words, you'll write a summary of the article. And it tells you the things to make sure your summary has. So I'll be looking to make sure your summary has all 3. Then you'll have to say if you agree with the concepts that were presented in that article. And if you do agree, don't just say yes, but say why you agree. And if you don't agree, say no, because, and tell us why you don't. And then you just have to determine if this is a reliable source, if we can count on and trust the source that you read. So these ones, as the instructions show down here, some of these questions will just be followed by a 1 word or a short phrase. So those ones won't need to have the 2 to 3 sentences, such as what's the author's name. You don't need to write 2 to 3 sentences for that. Just tell us the author's name, what level of education they've completed. Now, you might say, well, I don't know. And so like it says here, you'll need to use the internet search strategies you learned to conduct an internet search on the author of your article. So you'll need to go onto the internet and learn a little more about that author on your own so that you can answer some of these questions. And then I'll ask some more. So it will tell you if it's a yes or no question. what year was it published. That's not a 2 to 3 sentence. Just tell us the year. And here's one where you could do 2 to 3 sentences. Would this be a reliable article to use if you're completing a research paper? You could say yes or no, but then you need to explain why or why it would not be. So that is the task. You find a topic that we've learned, search for an article in the Deseret News database, and then read through the article and then answer the questions from the template and upload that. So this is a chance for, which is a great strategy, to decide if an article that you are reading or going to use for a paper, if it's reliable and if you can trust it. So we shouldn't just trust everything, and make sure that the sources we're using for research papers or papers in your college courses are reliable sources. So you'll learn about how to determine if it's a reliable source. The last thing I want to show is just my English tip. So I'm going to take my face off so I'm not blocking part of this document. I'm going to talk about the difference between adjectives and adverbs. So it can be confusing, so I'm hoping this is clear. So an adjective modifies a noun. A way to think about it is that it describes and explains a noun. The confusing part is you might know what an adjective is, but where to put it in a sentence can be confusing because in Spanish, you generally place the adjective after the noun. But in English, it's the opposite. So for example, in Spanish, the translation might be a house beautiful. You have the noun here and the adjective, the word that describes that noun, that house, is beautiful, and it comes after the noun. However, in English, we do it before. So you'll see we do beautiful, that's the adjective, the word that modifies the noun, which is house, and then house is next. So adjective and then noun. Another example, this is a course very interesting. This is a very interesting course. Interesting is the adjective that's describing the noun, the course. So it's a word that explains a little more about the noun. So if you are a Spanish speaker, know that it's the opposite of what you would do in Spanish, which can be hard and confusing. Then we have adverbs. These are, they can modify an adjective, a verb, and also another adverb. For example, she has an incredibly beautiful voice. So incredibly is modifying her voice, which is, it's describing incredibly beautiful voice. So what kind of voice? An incredibly beautiful one. He always drives fast. How does he drive? He drives fast. So that's modifying the verb, the be. Sometimes it modifies another adverb. He always drives terribly fast. So fast is an adverb, and then terribly is another adverb that's describing the adverb of fast, terribly fast. Now we might wonder, well, how can I tell if I'm going to use an adjective or adverb? Like it says, look at the words that need to be modified, like explained or described a little more. If it's a noun, use an adjective, like we had up here. This is an interesting course. She was a beautiful horse. If it's a verb, adjective, or adverb, then you'll use an adverb to explain it a little more and modify it. It's easy to tell the difference between adverbs and adjectives because often they will end with ly. I should say end. They generally end with ly. Like up here, terribly, incredibly. He is a bad student. Bad is an adjective because it's explaining the noun, the student. So adjective explains the noun. And if we say he sings badly, remember there's that hint that ly is oftentimes, almost always adverbs have ly at the end. There are exceptions like we see here. He sings badly. Badly is an adverb and it's modifying the verb sings. So it's modifying. How does he sing? Badly. So we're explaining a little more about the verb with an adverb. I hope that was not too much or too confusing. So hopefully you'll be able to read through this and pause the video, but if you have other questions about that, let me know. And I just wanted to wrap up the video by letting you know that I did read through all of the feedback or the surveys that you did, the mid-course evaluations, and I really want to always improve to help you as best I can. So I appreciate you giving me feedback so that I can set some goals on how I can improve as your instructor. Some things I will continue to work on is trying to give the best feedback I can. I try to pick the assignments that would help provide the most feedback to give feedback on, and I would just hope and plead with you to read that feedback. My hope is if you'll read that feedback, you can apply what I teach you into future assignments so we don't have those errors again, so that you're improving. So please read the feedback, and I'll do my best to give you effective feedback. There's always a balance of making sure it's beneficial without, I hate to tell you everything, but I want to give you enough that it's providing you the feedback you need. So if you have any questions on feedback I give, email me. I would love to give you more detailed information if you need it. And as far as getting back on emails, I will always try to respond within 24 hours. That is an expectation that I reply to you within 24 hours. If it's on the weekend, it's longer. So if you email me on Saturday or Sunday, I won't get back to you most likely till Monday because I try not to work on Saturday and Sunday. But other than that, it shouldn't be more than 24 hours that I get back to you. So that's something I'll continue to work on, setting my standards. So have a wonderful week, and let me know any questions you have. I'm here to help, support, and cheer you on. So have a great week.